So in a world where instant feedback is available to us and we're kind of trained, when we're scrolling, do we like it or would not like it? Sometimes it takes us so many trials and errors to then realize that there was nothing wrong the entire time. We just really need to figure out the angle. And it took us a while to be saying things until it started to make sense for people and to us even. Hello, my dearest entrepreneur friends. Welcome back to another video. Or if you are listening to this one on the Omni-channel podcast, welcome back to the podcast. Now, I want to preface and start today's episode with one of my improv comedy experiences. And I'm so sorry that it has been a reoccurring pattern in my latest videos. I think it's because it's very much alive in me. I'm experiencing it weekly and I'm learning so much from it that I had to just weave it into this video. So in improv comedy, we had many exercises that we kind of alternate in between. And the reason why I started improv comedy is to be fast thinking and also not be terrified of making mistakes and also be able to play much more freely, which I guess is going really well for me because I've always been able to drop into play, but in front of people now, it's a different game. So there was this game in improv comedy class where we had to send out one of our members and we were all sat in a corner and the instructions were that we cannot speak. The only thing we can do as a crowd is beep. And we can beep louder or softer or faster and slower. And what we kind of as a group figured out that the person who comes back to the room, that she would have to count from 10 to 1. That's the exercise. Except we cannot tell her that's the exercise and we need to let her figure it out. The only thing we can do is beep. So she comes in unsuspecting and she's touching everything. She's trying on things. She's doing everything. She's on the floor. She's pretending to be a dog. She's barking. And that goes on for a good 10 minutes. And we just keep beep, beep, beeping. And we're all like doing that beeping sound. What ends up happening is that time goes by, she really tries everything. Like she's now like actually touching the wall and be like, I don't know what to do. And when she spoke up, we immediately started beep, 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 beep. Like we started to signal to her, like, that's what you need to do. And she was like, oh, I need to speak. Okay, what do I need to talk about? And so again, she went on for a long time. She's like, do I have to talk about politics? Do I have to put, and so that really went on. And she was like already exhausted from the first trying on doing things. She didn't know she could speak. She got exhausted. So she spoke up from that frustration. And then finally she was like, okay, what do I speak about then? And she was like looking at the instructor and like, are we still doing this? Is this still going? Are you gonna stop this at some point? Like, please. But she didn't. So one of the ladies in the beeping ladies was like showing a number like 3. And she was like, oh, numbers. So I have to say numbers. And because of the help and the hint from the audience, she was like, okay, what do I say? Like, do I say my birthday? And finally, we managed to get her to count from 10 to 0. And she was like, oh my God, this was so fucking difficult. Like, I was ready to give up so many times. And I even said, like, I think I would have given up because how is it? We don't even know what's the exercise. And you don't even know if you're doing it or not because all you hear is no. And so what is it even? Like the field is not answering back to you. It can feel discouraging. And so today I want to talk about when the field responds and in terms of business, entrepreneurship, and the journey of it. And the reason why I wanted to bring this topic to the forefront today is I experienced this many times. So in my own business and my clients that I help grow, that there are just cycles where no matter what you do, the field is flat. The field is not giving you anything back. It's like the girl who doesn't know if she's doing it right because there's just no feedback loop whatsoever. And I also see this with clients sometimes when we have sales and then somehow it seems as though we are putting actions that are redundant because there is just no instant feedback loop. And you're like, okay, I guess this is not it. Is it? Like, what's going on? Like, why people are not buying? I thought it was a great offer, right? And being okay with, especially if you believe in something, and we're gonna go into that realms in a second, but being okay with just being in the echo of nothingness until it catches up to you. The field does. The field catches up to you, and it always does. So I think one of the mistakes that I see entrepreneurs make in their journey is that they don't wait until they get to the point where the field starts to give them feedback. And they falsely assume that silence on the field means this is really not working, this is very off. Especially in case of entrepreneurs who source external feedback as their main source of feedback loop. Like, there is no internal validation system inbuilt, which I'm not sure if this is tied to introversion or extroversion. I think it's personality based, but they struggle the most when the field goes quiet. And the other type that is self-led and self-validated is okay with the field not responding immediately. And obviously both can hold it for a while. It's just that when you self-validate and self-lead, you are okay with holding the vision as long as it takes. And you might be thinking, okay, but if really I'm holding the vision as long as it takes, but at the same time, what if this is something I'm putting out there that people actually don't care, don't need, that they don't resonate with it? First of all, if you're putting something out there and it's coming from experience, it's coming from you experiencing things and distilling it to something, then of course it has resonance because you have experienced it in the outside world. It's not like it came only from you. It came through experience, it came through proximity with clients, with people we want to serve, then it always has validity. In that scenario, it's just lagging to catch up with reality. But if it's something that it didn't come from experience, it's just your idea, and it has no validity other than it sounds fun, then it's going to be harder to see what the marketplace responds and harder to hold a frame when you don't know if this is really going to work out. And in that scenario, if you are the type who needs feedback loops and not getting it, you're going to kill that idea in a sec and you're going to move on to something else, which is very, very common, especially like very shiny, objecty entrepreneurs. Okay. So the key here is to understand that if you are on the realms of something that is coming from real experience or real mastery or a response to a real need, then it's okay for the field to lag. And it's okay for things to catch on, especially when you're creating something that is timeless. And I'm going to give you an example from the music industry, actually, because I went to a concert on Monday and it was a Tom Odell concert. And I'm sure you guys know Another Love, which is his hit song. And first of all, he always closes with that song because it's an absolute masterpiece. But I looked into him and there was an interview with him and with Zach Sang. He's interviewing musicians all the time. And Zach was telling him like, hey, I didn't know that this song was written in 2008. And I can't believe that this is like popping now back again. Like, this is really on, that people loving it again. And he said like, this is just one of those timeless pieces. And he's very happy. Obviously the song is doing so well. Like, when it came out, it was doing so well. And it's almost like recirculating again and getting a whole new audience, I think, through TikTok and just reaching different heights and levels. And I think it's over 1 billion listeners now. But he said I'm happy it's catching on, but it was always a timeless masterpiece. And he knew it was when he wrote it. And I think many times when we create timeless masterpieces, we know when we did them, or sometimes we don't. And we're like, okay, I guess I don't know what will happen, especially with songwriters releasing songs that blow up. You haven't seen that coming. Sometimes you do feel like this is going to be a hit song. And sometimes you're like, okay, I think this is great, but then it blows up. Sometimes it takes 10 years and it blows up. And I'm going to give you another musician example here because I think since we are in these realms, let's do it. Rix, he's an Australian musician. And his songs that I'm listening to now, he wrote them 9 years ago. And he's now getting collabs with Drake. He moved to LA and obviously opportunities are flooding to him now. But they were asking him, okay, so now that you have all this recognition and fame, how do you feel? And he said, well, I'm the same person. I've been doing this for a long time and I haven't changed much. It's just that people started to discover my music and loving it. So he is the same person. The music was written 9 years ago. It's just that it took this much time for reality to catch on. And imagine if that's how we approach life when we don't see the field looping back immediately. If we don't get it immediately, we might think that this is not gonna work. Like, why people not coming? And we stop. But I think the key is to then also believe that it's okay to have delays. If you believe in it, let's keep doing it and allow that delay. I think expecting the delay is ultimately what's going to help you hold the frame without an issue. So there are pieces of my own writing, for example, on social media that I wrote a while ago. And sometimes, I go back to my own writings and expressions and I read them again and I repost them, maybe refine them. And some people are commenting, saying, like, this is really good. This is amazing. I loved it. And I already posted it. It's just people missed it. So how can we find some of our pieces? How can we find some of our work that we can recycle and refine? So there is that repetition and recycling in this land of the field resonance build strategy. But also, how can I be okay with the fact that the field is not going to give me immediately what I thought it would, but I am not going to let that stop me. And I'm going to continue to express and create and do anyway, right? I think those people who can hold it, hold the frame, hold the vision longer than people can catch up, reality can catch up, will ultimately be rewarded when it does. And it always does, okay? So don't be afraid to not see immediate results. Like, don't be afraid to not see immediate feedback. Don't be afraid to put something, create something, and not see immediate likes, because it's part of the evolution, it's part of the process. And give yourself a good 10 years before you start panicking, because all these artists who ever created something meaningful were patient enough and they kept creating because they believed in what they were doing so much that they didn't quit and went to serve tables. So in a world where instant feedback is available to us and we're kind of trained, when we're scrolling, do we like it or would not like it? Sometimes it takes us so many trials and errors to then realize that there was nothing wrong the entire time. We just really need to figure out the angle. And it took us a while to be saying things until it started to make sense for people and to us even. So I hope this video was helpful. It was unusual, I know, but I hope you guys understand what I meant with it. And you can now let yourself just do the things that you wanted to do. Hold the frame long enough for the people to catch on and change nothing. Just refine your own work, refine your own expression, refine your own evolution. Like, let yourself grow and learn and get better and stay aligned in your own energy and let people meet you there. Thank you guys for watching, listening, and I'll see you guys very soon.